Listen, as a self-proclaimed isekai trash connoisseur, I've seen a lot in this genre. But to return after a month, because this show dropped 3 episodes early because streaming deals or whatever, but we had to wait for Japanese TV stations to catch up before we'd obviously get it. And they came back with a move I don't think I've ever seen. I've seen a lot when it comes to robots and mecha. And the initial moment where the thing's responding because he's looking at some tatas. So you see a little squeeze, you see a little pinch. I'm like, that's nothing I haven't seen before. Slightly humorous, a little cringy, but hey, it's anime. This mofo starts hip thrusting because he wants to clap cheeks. And I thought to myself, what in bullshittery am I experiencing? And where has this anime been all my life? The fact that we got time-traveling pantsuit, and that has me less shook than the And best of all, this mofo doesn't just hip thrust and maybe get a sexual restraining order against him. He then goes and kills like 100 people, just casually tuned out of his mind. The little chuny in him saying, this is my rifle blaster, he argued with the woman who he was hip thrusting over about a rocket punch. He's like, it has to have a rocket punch. No, you can't have me summon a rocket that punches. It has to be my arm. It has to come off and punch. This little psychopath has nuclear bombs he's launching out, but it's still not good enough for him because it's not a rocket punch the way he envisioned. There's a lot of good anime this season, but nothing quite has me entertained like Evil Lord of an Intergalactic Empire. Not many shows can make you wait a month and come back and say, you know what, the wait was worth it. Oh, but this isekai first, it was worth the wait. Full live reactions over on Patreon. You want to see me stumped in disbelief in real time, full and cut thoughts over there exclusively. So we got a time skip. So we have a new voice actor for Liam. I liked Liam's original VA, but I have to admit I prefer his new VA a lot more. Older, a little more, just some of the things we're seeing, it feels a little more comfortable with an older VA, I gotta admit. But just top to bottom, the show's unapologetically fun. If you were to point a gun at me and be like, you have to say the show's not stupid, I'd be like, just shoot me. Because the show is stupid. But it doesn't mean stupidity has to be bad. I think Keijo, as an example, is one of the dumbest anime ever made, but it's also amazing. All they do is hit each other with their ass for a sport. It's hilarious. Stupid is only bad is if the author is unironically trying to be smart and fails miserably. This show's like, listen, this boy, he has a sensei who is a con man. And he's going to get employment for the next 30 years of his life for no reason other than convincing a kid that he's a magical goddess. Not even a magical god. This man's so good, he elevated to goddess territory. Because when he showed him the slice, now we know it was all a magic trick. It was bullshit. But this man came out after 4 years realizing, wait a second, it's not about the sword. The sword is just like your arm. It's the magic. Liam taught himself magic because he got scammed by an old man. And all this old man has actually done is get a paycheck and bully him and get jealous of him. Because when he sees the hot, mechanic, he's like, shit, introduce me, come back to my crib. And they're just arguing about whether or not mechas can have robot punches. And I honestly love this because what she said honestly made sense to me. She's like, how would that even work? Where are we going to put the fuel to launch an arm? There's no space for that, you idiot. And he's like, I don't care, you make it work. And I love how she came up with a solution that's brilliant. You get your chuny wet dream of rocket punch because it's a weapon that gets summoned and you launch it like a punch and it blows up like a nuclear bomb. And he's still arguing it's not good enough. It has to. This man wants his mecha to be damaged for the cool factor. I am fully convinced Liam would get along with Sid from Eminence and Shadow. And it's just glorious. You got the old butler who's just clearly in disbelief of the bullshit. You got an AI who just does what she's told because she's a robot. You got a horned up mech mechanic who wanted to feel up every inch of that robot and just is very, very good at her job. A con artist sensei and a child with far too much power in the palm of his hands. Now, here's the great thing. Even prior to the break, we knew that things were starting to improve under his leadership, and you're seeing the general people talk like, oh, maybe this kid's actually going to be good for us. I love how the difference from the last time we saw the bar, it was a lot more musty, a lot more dim and dark. It's a lot more poppy and vibrant now, and the way they're talking about how they have jobs, everything just seems like the morale is improving. The lords of this world are going to hate him, but his people are going to love him. The fact that 40% of an army was obliterated, now 30% were killed, 10% were captured, and then I guess the rest, escaped. Some 15-year-old kid playing with his toys removed 40% of a force. And best of all, I'm pretty sure the reason he was this good in the mecha was that he was able to do things like his hip thrust maneuver, and he trained via that way. At some point, we're going to see this man hip thrusting, doing magical... He's going to have like one hand behind his head, he's going to be hip thrusting and just like slashing with magical attacks. This show is dumb as hell. And it knows it, and because it doesn't try to say it's not dumb as hell, it's just damn enjoyable. The production, surprisingly good. Not all of it. Sometimes you look at the 3D and you say, oh yeah, that's 3D. But I gotta admit, for the wide spaceships and a lot of the up-close, 3Ds, pretty damn good. Is it Gundam quality? No. But often it's pretty damn good. And even when it's like very noticeable 3D, it ain't that bad. And maybe that's too much for some people. Oh, you gotta shit. But it never pissed me off. It never looked like handshakers. If the whole thing looked like the worst CG I've seen in this show, then yeah, I'd have more of an issue. But there's a lot of detail, a lot to the explosions, the beautiful sky backgrounds. I don't know, they're doing pretty good. They left me off for a month on this show, and I could have completely forgot about it. But it was fun enough that I was like, I need to still see episode 4. And I'm so happy I checked it out because this shit was gas. Thoughts down below. I personally have never seen an isekai hip thrust in a mecha. Nor did that lead to then eventually slaughtering hundreds, but hey, that's just me. Maybe you've seen other shows that have done that. Thoughts down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here. Of course, ring that bell, like I mentioned, full live reactions over on Patreon, and hey, while you're over there, I'll also give you a video shout out. Alright, so today we got Gabby G, Attack Owl, Bird Nest, Ender Wolf, Gomasin, Count Viscount, Ciaris, and we also have Ryuki. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care, and y'all have a good one.